Welcome to another episode of Reggae Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Sean, alongside my co-host.
Cha, for real, in the building. It's a pleasure to be back here again. Today we got a special guest in the house. I'm not going to say who just yet, but obviously you're probably seeing him.
Them see him. They see who it is.
But we'll get to there. Let's get to our another co-host back from Canada. Oh, Canada. Because you know she travel all over the world.
You know she international.
Where you come from this time?
Hello, you already know who this is. This is the one and only V Monroe, the voice of the ladies. And I'm so glad to be back with my brothers. I missed you guys so much. And I'm super excited to have this guest here.
Yeah, man.
But we'll get into it.
Yeah, man. So as you guys can see, if you don't know, I'm pretty sure you do know who this man is. We're joined by our special guest, Bobby KONDERS. Bobby KONDERS, wagwan.
Yo, nothing laid back here. First of all, you didn't answer the question. Where'd you come from?
Yeah.
Where was you at?
This time, I'm coming from Panama.
All right.
Panama. Yo, that's nice.
I had to double check because I know she be traveling so
she
much.
danced around the question.
Yeah, like
who you hiding from?
Nobody.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But yo, Bobby KONDERS, give thanks, man. It's really an honor.
Absolutely.
To have you grace Reggae Talk Podcast. It's a man say.
Big up Reggae Talk Podcast. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you coming through because
it's love.
You know, man. Say,
it's our pleasure.
People, if you know about New York City, you know about reggae and dancehall in New York City. Bobby KONDERS is synonymous with New York City when it comes to reggae and dancehall. Bobby KONDERS is synonymous with reggae and dancehall globally. You know what I say? So
definitely
for Bobby KONDERS to value what we're doing and to actually take time out of his busy schedule to come to the Reggae Talk Podcast is truly an honor. You know what I say? So
thank you for them kind words.
Yeah, man. You know what the thing about Bobby and V Monroe. You said you have some fond memory of Bobby KONDERS from, you know what I say, way back in the day and thing and thing.
I'm not about to tell you guys how old I am. However, I used to be a Flex girl, a host on Flex in Brooklyn, who had a major influence in dancehall in 90s and 2000. And I remember
on that Brooklyn.
Flex in Brooklyn was a whole. That's a safari. That's a safari.
For Kevin Crown.
Yes, all of them. I know all
Shayna
of them.
was a dancer back then.
Shout out to Trooper.
Yeah,
okay.
And I remember Ozzy Oz taking us up to Hot 97, and you know, Bobby KONDERS and Jabba interviewed us, and I remember that memory fondly because I was so excited. And I had my mom. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna be on the radio.
Yeah,
and I was just thinking like I was gonna be this big famous person after that. But I truly appreciate that because you didn't have to do that for us. And during that era, we did not have people to look up to. So you, Jabba, we appreciate you, and it's so good to be here 20 years later.
Look, man, I remember being 8 years old, listening to cassette players.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And listening to the radio every Sunday, tuned in to listen to Bobby KONDERS and Jabba. It was like major. I used to actually press record and play and record it on my cassettes just so I could have it for the week to listen to my Walkman. For those of the kids that don't know what a Walkman is, it's something similar to a CD player.
They don't know what a CD player is, though.
Hey, man, it's a recorder.
But
some of the music played out of.
You know, Bobby KONDERS, we're not trying to date you. We're not trying to make you feel old.
Nah, man, but he built the thing.
We feel it's imperative that we let the people know how instrumental you were in our upbringing.
Definitely.
When we were coming up.
No, that's love. And
you know what I'm saying?
A lot of younger people say that, and the same stories that you guys have are the stories that I had. That when I aspired to get in the game, and I used to listen to people and put them on cassette, and listen and go to dance and buy the cassettes. And I was a vinyl junkie. I feel like I'm like a music nerd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I would go to basements and dig out records and wherever. You know what I'm saying? And just a love for music.
So that was the start of the Bobby.
I was DJing before I started Massive B and Massive Sounds.
Wow.
And I did some production before that as well. And I was doing mixes.
I want to get there, by the way, because I know you have some records out right now, but we're going to get there.
Yeah, but even back, some of my first productions was like around 1990.
Wow. Could you name a few?
Yeah, well, I did some house music where I took the poem from Muda Baruka called This Poem. And it was a real big house music anthem.
Right.
And Muda, knows, and me and Muda are cool. I saw him the other day in Jamaica, and it did real well. And I a 12-inch out on a label called New Groove called Bobby Conder's House Rhythms, and it had this poem on it. Then it had some other house music tracks on it. It did real well because before I started Master B, Massive Sounds, a label in the sound system, I was just like a street DJ.
Right.
And then
I mean, that's usually how it starts.
Yeah,
from
I
the
gravitated and I said, I want to have my own sound. I want to have my own record label.
Right.
I just feel like
so
I can do this on
quick question. So you started off as a house music DJ?
Well, not just house music. I played everything. But being that some of the productions got big, people just equated me to that.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so forth. And one thing led to a next. And I produced a song in 92 with Slam Remy called Mac Daddy, which was a reggae hip hop. Right. Back in the early 90s, reggae hip hop played a lot in New York.
Wow.
With Red Alert and Chuck Chill Out and even Funk Flex.
Right.
And after I did Mac Daddy, we did Super Cat Get Her Red Hot. The hip hop one that had the big video with Cat running through his hood in Jamaica. And you know, a lot of things is just bubbling. I did a lot of like.
So you were instrumental in the in dancehall fusion with hip hop at the time.
Yeah, very much so. I released an album called New York City Rude Boy / Badman when they picked it up, and it had Louis Rankin on it, who was you know.
No,
what's his name? From
Teddy Bruckshot.
Teddy Bruckshot. What's his name?
You want to ramp with Bumbo at me?
That's Louis on it. Reverend Badu, Shaggy. Red Fox, you know, we did hip hop mixes to all of them, and they all and all the hip hop mixes were playing. You know, it's just a fusion for the hardcore hip hop kids to get into the thing.
So was that at the time? Because we did a podcast on that.
We did a whole episode
about hip hop and dancehall, and how now in these times it's not as
you won't hear
adamant.
The remixes as much,
right?
But in every yard dance for every younger generation, you're going to hear hip hop.
Now, was it as a big thing back then, or were you like the instrumental in saying, "Nah"?
I think like
spoon feeding them to the people.
I think it was another avenue for the dancehall reggae artist to get exposure within the American hip hop community.
Right.
Because say directly, some of the hip hop DJs might play dancehall and reggae,
right?
But maybe not in Cleveland, not in Dallas, where there's not a West Indian population.
True.
To numbers like Brooklyn,
right?
Yeah.
Or even in Miami,
right,
and so forth. So it was just another avenue to get your song played, and then some of them like the Get Her Red Hot got massive,
right?
You know, and then say Mac Daddy, that song was big, like a #1 song in certain markets, and that's when I learned about marketing, and I learned more about different regions of the country, and marketing budgets and so forth, and learning about pressing up my own label. And I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because I signed as a producer to a major label, but then I started my own label, and this knowing how to, because when I started my label, son,
right,
I had my Pathfinder. You know what I'm saying? That was the ghetto celeb car. You know, and then I would,
not a Crusader.
I would press the records.
Yeah,
I would put them in my trunk. I would have my receipt book. I'd have the hammer underneath the seat. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in the streets,
real bad man,
you know, collecting your paper from every borough.
Yeah.
And then I learned about exporting the records around the world.
Right.
And, you know, from doing Brooklyn to Bronx to Harlem, Queens, so forth. And then you just build your accounts. And then I even learned about, there's people buying my records off of Massa B that I'm pressing in Kingston or I'm pressing in Nashville, Tennessee, and they're buying them around the world. But some of them songs are not even playing in Jamaica or not even playing in Brooklyn, because I maybe put a song out with Burro Banton, Nicodemus, Half Pint.
So it sounds like you had a whole different market than what the...
I learned about... There was people out there that just loved reggae music, that not necessarily... Just because I didn't come with a Bounty Killer record at the time or a Beanie Man... There was people out there around the world that wanted to hear, like I said, a Half Pint and Anthony B. Well, that was a little early for Anthony B, but like a Burro and a Nico. And then as the time went on, I started voicing Sizzler and so forth.
Right.
And realizing, because I put out a lot of cultural rhythm.
Right.
Probably one of the bigger songs, you know, off of my label is Richie Spice. In the Streets is getting hot.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but I had other songs like, say, Sizzler, Jah Will Never Fail I, that did real well globally, say in Italy, in all of Europe. Right. You know, and so forth. Because I learned the politics, with how the radio thing work and the sound system thing work in Jamaica, and it can get very costly.
Right.
That's true. Having to
100%.
try to promote your music.
Definitely.
And I just realized, like, when the 45s were selling, this is the 45 era, the record era, there was people out there just buying the records they rated the label, they respected Master B label, they respected the production and the songs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the cultural rhythms always stood the test of time.
So Absolutely. It outsold the dance.
Oh yeah, because I put songs out with Burro, Take a Set on the Cuss Cuss rhythm with Shinehead, Anthony B. Warrior, King Kong, Rumble Jumble Life, and them songs like they're classics.
Right. Great.
You know,
to go back to the hip hop and the reggae dancehall relationship, we did a whole episode pretty much what we do. The difference between our program and other programs, we try not to focus too much on the trending stuff. We like to look at the culture, analyze it, and then we talk about it. Now, we noticed that when we look at the hip-hop and the reggae dancehall relationship back in the 90s, it was a closer relationship. Tons of collabs and all that stuff, everything. It was
bigger budgets.
It was customary.
Artists were getting signed. Big
Yes.
budgets.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it was
Cat was signed to Columbia. Shabo was signed to Sony.
Yeah.
I was signed as a producer to do like a street album. And I came with that Mac Daddy song.
That pretty much hit the nail on the head. Because they're signed to these major labels, their brothers and sisters were rappers that were in the label as well, so they would naturally collab. Is that
I still do that though. I think
not as much though.
Not as much.
We see with a new generation hip hop artists and a dancehall artist or reggae artists. We see bits and pieces. I usually say they have 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Right.
You need a label to commit to you though. To commit, but see, it's all about numbers with labels. It's all about numbers. Numbers is sense. Numbers is money. and now in 2019, I'm just learning it because sometimes as an older dude, you might just fight against progression, or maybe it's not progression but change.
Right.
And it took me a while to go from records to CDs to thing, and now I'm learning all about the streams. I got a song I produced with a young artist named Cyclone. It's on the Pandora rhythm.
I'm gonna tell you something. Last night, Cyclone linked me on the Reggae Music Forever blog. He has
hard
an
worker.
Yeah, man. I reposted it.
Very smart.
It's funny you say hard worker.
But the song I got with him got a damn near 500,000 streams.
Wow.
It don't even play.
Wow.
Nobody plays it. But here, the point is to the younger artists, you got to get your songs on playlists.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that real talk, and I'm a street dude.
Yeah.
That's what I can't. Can I curse?
Yeah, curse. Yeah.
I can't fuck with that. That's what a game is. Mm-hmm. So I got to go run down some
people to get on playlists.
Suit and tie dude that ain't never been in the streets or never been to a party or a dance hall because they happen to have the top playlist.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? Because son, if you ain't got your joints on the playlist,
you're not getting no
streams. Ain't got your joints
that's a fact.
In a record store.
That's a fact.
The playlist is the record store.
That's true. So even as an artist, I'm learning this because I have to find these same guys you're talking about and get on their playlist. And to get on the playlist, it's costly. So
imagine that. There's a million people trying to get on that playlist with 50 songs.
Right.
It's
the bigger the artist, the bigger the budget.
That's the complete reason why I started my label back in the day to press my records.
Right.
Because I could press my records and be in the streets. And if
to skip over I got you.
I didn't have to worry about no politics.
Right.
It was me investing in myself, my label, my artists.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Whoever it was, Bounty Killer, Cartel, whatever, Burro.
Right.
Then I would go and hustle them.
Right.
And then I go collect my bread. And then I realized there's a world out there.
True.
That there's sound system, reggae, dancehall culture. I go to Italy. Back in the late 90s with Jabba and Burro.
Yeah.
And I draw for the dub organizer rhythm. We put a song out, Burro did a song called Africans. Road boy rubber dub rhythm, old school thing.
Right.
My man Burro started singing this song and the Italians just started singing. I'm like, God damn, that's how it really connected.
Wow.
To me. Like these motherfuckers.
Because they don't speak English and they're singing patos.
I want to interject really quickly because you did mention something about radio. I want to ask, with the change between back then and 2019, where people are not really listening to radios to find hits no more.
No, because there's kids out there 22 don't care about radio.
Right. No. And so what I'm saying is now I know I own a couple of businesses, and in my store we run YouTube all day long, and that's how we find music. YouTube and
so you just run the mixes.
Whatever depends on what mood I'm in. Because for me,
I find
that exactly. So we go to YouTube, we go to SoundCloud, we use these different apps to find music. So I want to know, how are you adapting to that change now that you don't have to run down records. You don't really have to
stay booked. You gotta stay relevant. Like even if some of the people ain't listening, because say there's so many more options now in radio.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they've even changed the format of our show. But this is it's try to stay relevant in the parties because DJs don't even make like I don't charge what I used to charge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a million DJs.
I'm glad you touched on that.
The laptop has made almost the DJ become
obsolete in a sense.
Like back at
devalued.
Devalued. Perfect
Perfect.
word.
Yeah.
Devalued because there's so many.
Yeah.
You know, and then also you got to understand, like in the 90s, early 2000s, the streets was more hot. Like
Absolutely.
money was running in the streets.
Yeah.
Social media is the streets now.
Yeah.
But there ain't no hustlers in really
Right,
social media.
right.
But
Yes,
that's
they done the game done watered down. So now you have a million DJs and
Because the streets back then, the drug money them used to have, and they keep the dance,
son.
they go
So
right back into the DJs.
We was working 5 days of the week and getting it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? On a
now
Monday
with
night.
social media, it's not.
It was Shane Villa in the Bronx, which is Mingles now, and then you got
Yeah,
Lincoln. It was Gal Farm on Tuesdays with the Queen Champagne crew.
Right.
And this one and that one was Massive B, Matterhorn, and Libra Love.
Right.
And Stone Love sometimes. And go ahead.
Since we're talking about the new, pretty much the new.
Did I answer that? I'm sorry.
No, you absolutely did. I just wanted to find out, like, now that it has changed so much, are you using these?
No, I learned the social media. MySpace, I was a little bit. Facebook, I'm whack on. But then I got up to the time on Instagram.
Don't worry.
I see you on the gram. Your gram is you putting in the work on that gram.
I tried to this because what I did is had somebody hook it up. Whenever I post on the gram, goes to Facebook, Twitter.
So you try to dabble.
Yes.
Website. So this, like, my daughter say, your daddy, your shit is sloppy. But at least I'm
there.
Visible.
You're right.
And that's what
You understand what I'm saying?
And that's what it's
And
about.
I ain't as fly. My thing ain't fly like Chronix is.
Right.
Or
Visibility
or
is key.
Some of these young boys that have someone doing it for them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just I just.
But you're there.
Like
You're
I was
putting
just in the crib. It's Thursday. Okay, boom. I dug up an old Cartel dub plate,
Right.
and I got my turntable there. And I just really take it old school.
and
play
people
it.
appreciate things like that. To be honest,
You know, I just try to. I'm realizing it's not even about sometimes the quality. Like it's the quantity. This is stay because because what made Cardi B popular?
Exactly.
Right.
Social
It was
media.
just fuckery,
Wow.
talking nonsense.
But what about YouTube? Are you using YouTube? Because
Not the way I should be, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm the worst. I don't like to sit behind a desk or a computer, so I'm not. You know,
you always got your kids. You know, you could.
yeah, nah. I mean, I'm good, but like, I just to sit there like and just be pressing buttons. It's just I didn't grow like that. Fam.
All right, no, I get
All right,
you.
Bobby.
But
So-
I try.
So I know our mantra over here at Reggae Talk, we call ourselves the voice of reason for the culture, and we say build each other up, and we have tons of artists right now. Everybody's an artist nowadays.
Oh man, just like
everyone is an
It's too
artist.
easy to
Everyone's a
make-
DJ.
Son, it's too easy to make a record. Right?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna cut you there now.
Yeah, man.
Because you want to break it down and know how the thing go.
Yeah, man.
Done. Back in the day, you'd have to hustle your money, get your weight up,
Start things.
and then go to Jamaica, build a rhythm.
That's what I
Or
want to
build it here.
Right.
Voice it.
Right.
I used to live down the block in St. James Towers. I used to put the mic in the kitchen. I made records like that.
Right, in the
You
crib.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then after you did all of that might have cost you money because you might have maybe go book a studio.
Right.
You got to mix it.
Right.
Now, after you mix the record, if it's your label, it's just not like we're going to burn a CD or send out some little MP3.
Right.
Nah, man, you
You
got
had to
to
put in
go
work.
master the fucking record, son.
Facts.
Gotta sound good.
You got to master the product. Now, after you master it, you got your black lacquer that looks like a dub plate.
Right.
Now, after you got this is all money now. This costs bread.
Right.
After you did that, you got to send it. They send it out to get the metal plate.
Oh.
Now, the metal plate is what they press the record off of.
Wow.
Before you get your records, they press a couple and have you listen to it to make sure that it's the test press. That's the white label.
Right.
And then after you okay, because if the test press got a skip in it, you got to start over.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
If the test press is good, you make your labels. That's maybe $150 for 5,000.
Right.
But you hope you sell that much. And what happens is now you press your records. Well, I was pressing in Jamaica with the distributors down there, but then I realized the numbers weren't adding up the way I liked them.
Right.
Because you giving the next man do your thing, you're not gonna get it
They're
the way you
gonna
want
take a
it.
I know all
little
about
tip or
that.
something,
So I started pressing my own things and bringing them back from yard, or pressing them up here, boom, and distributing them and then carrying them back.
Right.
So right down the block, I'd get a truck would pull up with 20,000 45s, and then I would just I might have 7 people on the rhythm.
Right.
Do the math, son. I might be out 20G already.
Wow.
then you got to go defend it and get your bread, and then you hope they play it in the record store,
right?
You know, but obviously if they play it and it's selling, they're gonna make their own money too,
right.
And then hopefully you argue to get your money, blah blah blah. And I used to have $50,000-$60,000 on consignment around the world.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Just from rhythm to rhythm, because you got to get it out there,
right?
And then you got to try to get it, and that's goes to your argument now. You just have a little laptop. It's so easy to make music now.
Right, exactly.
And therefore, that might go into the point of quantity doesn't equal quality because there's so much whack-ass music.
Right. Do you feel like we even need a record label at this point?
Well, I think by you just even having your laptop, having Fruity Loops, making a record, and just going on there and you fuck around and get lucky and maybe have a record or whatever and get a hit. That's your own label, which is the good thing about it, though.
Right.
But it is what it is. I mean, sorry, man.
It seems like you're advocate of that.
A lot of music ain't this.
Pretty much
don't reach.
Right.
Pretty much
don't reach no good quality.
We kind of touched on the landscape of the music back then. The process of creating music. It's not, it wasn't a walk in the park.
Nah, man, because I used to go to Jamaica and there'd be cats lined up at the by the studio, first trying to get in the gate.
Yeah.
And then to get past the gate, to get into the studio, because maybe the boss said if I worked at the Junior Reed studio, he can't let everybody the fuck in.
Right.
It's gangster time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to regulate shit.
Absolutely.
Cats can get robbed and all kind of shit.
Right.
So what do you think about the landscape of Jamaican music today?
I think over the last 5 to 10 years, what has happened from a global perspective, the music has gotten a lot smaller.
Smaller? What do you mean? What do you mean smaller?
In what aspect?
Well, from touring, like dancehall had a certain sound, even though it transitioned from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s.
Right.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the line, around whatever 07.
Would you say it lost its identity?
Well, I'm saying it's changed its sound. Music is a youth-driven business.
Right. Yeah.
So you don't fight the youths.
Right.
But they changed the sound.
Right. I want you to keep going because you get to the meat.
Now, what happened was with the sound changing and the hottest songs in the dance hall, the Jamaican dance hall, directly isn't the hottest songs globally.
Right.
And the music with the sound changing, people have gone to Afro beats. They've gone to the groovy soca. They've gone to EDM. So therefore, now when I go around the world and play, the people want to hear the Fevers. They want to hear Bruck Off Your Back and them kind of songs.
Because it has that trace of what dancehall was. And they can follow the drums.
Yeah.
Now the dancehall trap sound, it's cool for the hardcore yard crowd. But when I go globally, they don't want they want to follow the rhythm. So when they follow the rhythm, you look at Rihanna, work. She sampled old Richie Stevens production.
Yes.
Even Drake,
Justin Bieber.
These are like Carib influenced, dancehall influenced songs.
Right.
People could fuck with them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But when you go in and say some of that hardcore dancehall trap
been
sound
an argument.
with the filter, they changed the whole sound.
That's been an argument.
Done. The music.
Sean, I think you made a good point.
So
it's not connecting globally.
Bobby Condors, what do you think about the people who say that, listen, things and times change, you're stuck in the past? Because your argument is my argument. And I've been
not stuck in the past because I go play that music.
Talk to the people.
But what I'm saying is,
talk to the people.
I'm trying to tell you is that music is not it's not crossing the borders the way you think it is. Now, maybe because you ain't been around the world.
Right.
But I'm selected that tours the world.
Right.
And the music, like, okay, you have a Chronix is working because he's reggae.
Yeah.
All right. And he do a little dance, all likes is working, so forth. Yeah, but I'm just trying to say some of the hot, like
Six.
a lot of the stuff. Well, I ain't gonna even call people's names. A lot of the stuff,
not good.
You know what I'm saying? That's coming. I like it, but I'm just trying to tell you when I go on the other side, they want to hear that. They want to, like you might say,
they want to hear the drum and bass.
They want to doom, 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 doom. They want to hear something they can follow.
Yeah, man.
If you notice, Afro beats took a slice of that.
Yes. Oh, so
that's probably why
so I'm
Charlie Black's.
We're gonna talk about that now.
So far, because I know you made a point about Charlie Black in 2013.
Before we get into that, I have an article here from the Rolling Stones magazine. and they actually allude to you, Bobby KONDERS.
Right.
It says the article is titled the article is titled Why Isn't Jamaican Dancehall Bigger in the U.S. and this is dated back to last year.
Yeah, I went to Jamaica and I promoted Master B Legacy.
Yeah, man.
So I never really did that before. Me promoting myself, I was always promoting the artists and my selectors.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, on the sound. But I just went down there and said I want to campaign this thing, and I went on stage with Winford, Anthony Miller.
I watched that.
Every fucking
saw the whole thing.
There's an excerpt in the article. V Monroe, I want you to read it. And this is where they allude to you.
Because we always arguing over this topic. So basically, the article states that dancehall is the son of reggae, but the father of several genres, says Sean Paul. Likely dancehall's biggest crossover superstar. The influence dancehall has brought to the table is evident right now in Afro beats. It adds, citing that the popular
Shanna, before you get there, right? We want to page 3.
Yeah,
the dancehall single that make it past.
Yeah, man, that one.
Okay.
Right.
All right, the dancehall singles that make it past these obstacles in the U.S. generally starts on New York's Hot 97.
Radio. Yes.
The biggest supporter of Caribbean music in America, explains Julian John Griffith, a veteran dancehall manager who now works with Charlie Blacks and Jada Kingdom. After that, the song spread to Hartford, Boston, and other East Coast cities with notable Caribbean presence.
Yeah. So
does that model still exist?
Right.
I tell you the truth, I never followed what the other people were doing in the other areas.
Sounds like you, Sean.
I just played a hardcore show, and I just know we was the bridge to Hot 97. And then I just knew other stations, like they just said, kind of followed if we broke a record. You know what I'm saying? And if Hot 97 put it in rotation. But it's a different time now. You know what I'm saying? And certain songs go through, but they got to remember they're a hip hop station basically, and they're what people have to realize about radio is in the business to sell advertising.
Yeah.
Now, however they get their numbers and their ratings and their marketing numbers to sell advertising, they have to, whatever keeps the meters hot, they're going to play them set of songs. Hence, you might hear a song 20 times in one day. Because according to them and their research, these are the songs that are ringing off.
Right.
Now, a lot of times it's hard for dancehall to get into that cut because their streaming numbers now are not going to be what a freaking pop Beyonce, Jay-Z, so forth, so on, so on.
Right.
So whereas back in the day, you might have had more of New York had its own unique sound because of the streets and the record stores.
Yeah.
It wasn't looking at a national Billboard chart. It was looking more at a local chart.
Right.
Hence, that's how I got the Richie Spice in, or when we put out T.O.K. Galia Lead, we got that in.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? And so forth, and things just led. And then we just knew numbers was going to, the phones were going to ring because it was popping in the streets.
Gotcha.
But now they're looking more at a national level.
Streams.
So it streams, and they're going to be like, well, these guys got 800 million. But we know that the major labels have the money to dictate the streams. Don't get it fucked up.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? There's ways around that where they hire certain shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And have certain people locked in.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's a lot of politics and politics and fuckery behind the business. You understand what I'm saying?
In another article, they pretty much say that dancehall records, every couple of years, maybe every 2 to 3 years, we'll have one big record. Or two big records.
It could be a big
last
record
year,
every
it was
6 fucking months.
What was it last year?
Exposure.
Walk-in trophy.
Walk-in trophy. And what? Yeah, I think who's celebrity walk-in trophy?
Done. Fever.
Fever.
And Fever.
Oh, okay,
What I'm
Fever.
saying is, fam, their priority is, radio's priority is not a dancehall record or even your rap career.
Yeah.
Their priority is basically
Advertising.
to sell the advertising.
Right.
And if it's to play some of them idiot rap records, you know, that's just what it is.
It's the numbers.
That's what the kids like.
Whoever's bringing those numbers is who they're gonna play.
Yeah,
basically.
But what I just said earlier that you might have missed.
Right.
Major labels have a way now of dictating the streams.
Numbers, right.
You understand what I'm saying?
So you say
with the digital robots and all these kind of things.
Right.
Not everybody, but I'm saying the game is
So in other words, you're saying
fucked.
You're saying that the streams, 800 million, whatever figure it is, those streams are not real?
I don't think they're accurate. I don't think all of them major artists are accurate.
Agreed.
There's ways around the block, son.
Bobby Condes just said it. Because sometimes I see some streams and they're
man, I can't even pronounce the number.
Astronomical.
I can't pronounce the number.
You know what
I
I'm saying?
work for them people.
Right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? How can this all? I know he's a pop star, but come on, man. It's infinite.
Right.
Because there's a lot of.
Come on, son. It's all fuck. Man,
for example, coffee. Because you know how our realm is pretty much we're waiting for the next big record. Last year was Hood Celebrity, and we said, all right, it's 20.
That's 2 years ago, fam.
2 years ago. You see that?
That long ago?
Was it?
Because they played.
It wasn't 18. It was 17.
The shelf.
Wow.
The shelf.
I thought Brook Off Your Buck was 17.
No, we're gonna get to that with the party animal.
These songs been out for minutes.
Yeah, man. But what I'm saying is that last year was 2 years ago or whatever. It played last year too. Last summer was Hood Celebrity.
That was my song last year.
Yeah. So pretty much we are waiting for the next summer anthem. That's how it's been forever. You know, there's usually one
Well, it
big.
depends. There's levels of summer anthems because you're talking about the pop anthem that might play on pop radio on Hot 97.
No, we talking
Oh, you mean like the New York City, New York
Streets
Streets.
Cartel got the biggest song right now.
We're
Any
talking
weather.
about urban. We're talking about no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about songs
that is I agree.
that
cross-pop.
infiltrate urban and eventually go mainstream.
Well, I mean, Toast right now, Coffee Toast, because she signed to Columbia in
Shayna said
England.
that.
Speak on that. Do you
Well,
think
she signed to Columbia in England. She is a
Oh,
great
wow.
manager.
I didn't know that.
And he's going to campaign the thing to make it work for her.
It's gonna work.
I'm not saying it's going to work, but I'm saying at least she's in the Kool-Aid.
that's my concern?
Right.
She's in the Kool-Aid.
She's in that mix.
It's gonna work.
I think Shensea's song with Tiger
Bless.
might work too.
True.
Because
Agreed.
she signed to Interscope.
Right.
And
I didn't even know she
they pressed
signed.
all the right buttons.
Wow.
But they said it was like it was an interesting deal, like a one song, a single deal.
Oh, it could be a single deal. Then I don't know the details.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? But I think she's a pretty girl. She's marketing. You know, I think the American public will like her. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
She's really worked on her craft from 3-4 years ago
She
to
sure
now.
did.
Like, and you get to see the confidence in her and on stage,
Right.
in her presence. I mean, you know,
She's absolutely a good performer.
her social media game is lit.
Yes, it is.
You know, she got like
Yeah, man.
her management team's on point.
She knows exactly
You know,
what to post.
You gotta, as an artist today, you better have some form of social media game popping. And if you're not doing it, your team's doing it, your manager's somebody.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Up to the time, because look at Cartel. He's been locked down for 6-7 years, but his people around him got
They
him.
keep him relevant
We were
through
just
social
talking
media and
about
all
that.
He's
everything.
the hottest dancehall artist.
Agreed. I'm not disappointed.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Last week, Damage Music. He's one of the hottest producer right now out of Jamaica. Like he's producing.
I know Blessings, Tommy Lee.
Yeah, man.
that.
Blessings.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
he's like
Some good songs.
tons of records.
Good songs, but them like a lot of them songs like we were talking about.
Right.
They're the songs that are not gonna really play
Yeah, man.
around the world because it has a like that real little hip hop sound.
Yeah, man.
Right.
And they're good. And when I played them in the hardcore dancehall, they fuck up the place.
Right.
Damage
But-
Music. He
but-
said that. Listen.
No, I
yo,
heard the interview.
Yeah, man. So I don't know if you guys heard the interview. He said, yo, the times. He didn't say the times changed. He was talking about the sound of the production. He said, listen, hip hop is heavily influenced by Jamaicans, and we're pretty much using it for our benefit. In other words,
But I think what he's saying is the kids in Jamaica are influenced by hip hop. That's what he should. I think that's what I interpret because what happened is their sound almost comes off a trap sound.
Yeah.
I never really heard a trap sound in yard like that. So I feel like the trap sound is a very big nationally, but hip hop. You go look at a lot of these even these artists. They were influenced by Eminem, Tupac, Biggie Smalls, or whatever. So they like me as a reggae dancehall dude. Yeah, I live 2 blocks from Biggie or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But and I like hip hop. I knew Heavy D and all these cats, Buster. But me as a dancehall reggae dude, I was more influenced by the dancehall reggae culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Going to Biltmore Ballroom, seeing Super Cat and Burro Band and Nicodemus on King Addy's sound.
Wow.
Shabba, you know what I'm saying? Coming to Biltmore, Blah Boujou and so forth. Seeing them, that was, you know what I'm saying? But 10, 15 years later, a lot of these dancehall artists, when Jamaica Relay, I think got BET or whatever, they seen the younger cats really got influenced by the rappers, DMX and all that.
I mean, we had that conversation before, and I did feel, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I do feel in those days, a lot of these hip hop artists were from Caribbean descent. and that could have played a major role in it because you would have more respect.
Maybe
for the
some of the
culture.
New Yorkers, but I don't necessarily think the kids down south were.
Well, no.
You know,
I'm talking about
Biggie's Jamaican, but I mean, but if you listen to Biggie never really had no patois in his songs.
He did actually in one of his rap songs. He was talking about, oh, they want short pardon me. He did say that.
You must be.
But it, you know,
want
he
short
never
pardon
really
me.
did it like a dancehall
No, he
reggae song. He
didn't.
did the one "Dolly Me Baby" with Supercat, the hip hop remix.
You had Heavy
you
D also that he played. He was also part of it. You got Peppa. Yeah, Peppa. Also, she was Jamaican too.
But if you listen to their songs, though, they didn't really do a reggae or dancehall song.
But they did collaborate, is what I'm saying. Which is why, I mean, they had that argument with me. I'm like, I just feel like the reason why there were so many collaborations, yes, the record labels had something to do with it, but a lot of these artists were from Caribbean descent. So I feel like that played a major role in it too, because if you don't have respect for the culture, like if I was full up American, I'm not doing no kind of reggae art.
No, but someone like Lil Wayne did a song with Junior Reid, and you know, I think.
And Tory Lanez just did the remix of Coffee.
But Tory Lanez is from Canada, and
I think his people's from Bahamas or something.
Exactly,
right. So
they
very
still Caribbean.
Influenced by obviously you can tell his first big song was Tana Mentra Navantes.
The love. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
But you know what always perplexed me? Like, for example, you said earlier that the sound changed and the music is small and all these different things. You know,
I didn't say the music really small. The sound changed, but it's smalled up. Like it's just globally, the people are not accepting it.
Right.
I'm not saying it's bad or whatever. That's like I said, music is a youth-driven business.
Absolutely.
And kids are gonna like what they like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I just know from back in the day, pressing the records and touring the world, that record shops was that meeting spot. Like in the Bronx, you had Moody's, Superpower, Barry U, Ja Life, Ethiopian Taste in Brooklyn, Original Records on Jamaica Avenue. You go to Germany, they had the record shops, Italy, and then people were influenced by the music. You understand what I'm saying? And they had the sound system culture, and globally these kids were. Now these kids aren't going to the record store. So if the European them, or say the Africans and whatever, were into the sound, it would be bigger in them parts of the world, like the 90s and early 2000s.
So
you understand what I'm saying? Because you could tell some of these big Afrobeats artists, their swag come from dancehall.
Oh God, let's not even go there.
No, but it's not a bad thing. No,
We agree about it.
It's not a
bad thing.
We agree.
No, it's not a bad thing.
You can see the influence.
But it's
not a bad thing.
No,
you're right.
You
can hear some of the words.
Say how you feel about it.
This is my point, all right? All of this comes from Africa. Africa is the origin from everything.
For human life.
No one's disputing that.
For everything.
It's unique to us, though.
But what I'm saying,
no one's disputing that. No one's disputing that.
What I'm saying is the drum play that all come from Africa. What I'm saying is dancehall took from, because if you
they couldn't have took it because the people was put there,
right?
Exactly.
Enslaved.
Right. So
it came with them.
It's not took.
They didn't take it.
It's not took.
It was part of them.
The argument that you had, the argument that we were having, which I specifically said was, there's no way that it could be Afrobeats came from dancehall because this all originated.
I didn't say that.
Right.
No, I said influenced.
This is what we've been arguing. We did a whole episode on this.
We did, and I was like livid. I'm like, it cannot be influenced if this is where it's the origin. Because if you go
but what about the sound then? The dancehall sound
from 1987 to 93.
The dancehall sound came from the original African.
Granted, but cats weren't making records in Africa then.
I mean,
exactly.
They were not doing what they're doing now.
We weren't paying attention to what was going on in Africa.
So Google it. I want to hear it.
Google is not the answer to all.
Who? I want to hear it.
Y'all promote Africa, now you're running Google.
No, he told me to Google it. He told me to Google it. What I'm saying is that before, you guys would just be up onto this. I knew Africans from back in the day that was putting me onto African music way before.
And they were bootlegging all of the reggae mix CDs.
No.
Facts.
No.
Go to Canal Street.
All right.
No,
so
here we do. I agree with you on that. The drum came from Africa.
Right.
Human life came from Africa.
Right.
What I'm saying is these younger artists from Africa.
Okay, the younger ones.
Could be the DeVitos, the Wiz Kids, whatever. You can't. They were influenced what was coming from Jamaica. You can be. You're telling me. You're telling me you can't be influenced by someone else around the world.
What I'm saying is that you cannot be influenced from something that's the origin. Okay, because if dancehall came from Africa, these people are already from Africa, and actually,
that's like
when
saying,
when we did do the research, we did come up with the conclusion that Afrobeats came from. I forgot what kind of African music it's done from West Africa. That's where it came from originally.
Now,
all right.
That's
so
like,
if you want to get, and then we could go back deeper.
So you're telling me Stone Boy
we could go back,
is DJing?
We could go back deeper into the diaspora on how Africans, when they were abducted into slavery, when they were in slavery, they were transported into Jamaica. So if you think about it,
we said that.
That's why we're saying is you're saying, but see you're making my point.
Right.
You are. How you making my point is because these people were enslaved.
Okay.
They brought the sound
from Africa.
Right.
Then you have generations.
Okay.
And now next comes the drums.
Okay.
Right. And obviously everything came from Africa.
All right, that's my point.
My point is though, these kids that are doing Afro beats now, right? Not everybody, but what I'm saying, a lot of them ask them. Mr. Vegas influenced them.
Right.
Vibes Cartel influenced them.
Right.
Could be a Bounty or Beanie Man. Right. Go ask them. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna ask them.
Remember, dancehall influenced hip hop. Dancehall influenced hip hop, right? That's like the birth of
came from
hip hop is from dance. That's like us saying. Hold on. That's like us saying. Oh, trap hall right now is not influenced by hip hop because we birthed hip hop. No, that makes no sense. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
What I am saying is
exactly what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is you can't say that Afrobeats was influenced by dancehall when the whole thing came from Africa. When we had the conversation, I said,
it's the same thing I'm saying. It's the same as hip hop and dancehall.
You took pieces. That's like me saying, Reggae Talk was influenced by Jamaica. Exactly.
So they're in Jamaica,
right?
And they come up with their sound. They come up with their sound.
Right.
From what?
Oh my God.
From Africa.
But that's what I'm saying.
Thank you. That's my point.
No,
but then that's like saying hip hop. That's like saying the same thing with hip hop. That makes no sense.
The sound though.
The original. That's what do you mean? Like
right. What I'm saying right now. All right now you have dancehall artists who are influenced by hip hop, which like you want to say made. Oh, so then it's not fair to say that hip hop. You get what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
No, let me make it clear then. There's no sense saying anything because then everything we say come from Africa.
Right.
But my point is, so your daughter grows up.
Right.
And she starts doing a thing.
Right.
Then you're just going to say, well, she didn't get influenced by Nicki Minaj because actually her ancestry come from Africa.
No, what I'm saying is that dancehall took from Africa.
It didn't Jamaicans came from Africa.
I'm talking about first generation. Well,
now you coming to my argument then.
How?
You're endorsing my argument. But what I'm saying is in the 50s, 60s, 70s when reggae was coming and it come from Africa and the drum.
Right.
Granted.
Right. Exactly.
Then they started doing their own forms of drum patterns.
Right, exactly.
Now the drum patterns you're saying you're saying as a person in 1980 can come up with his own drum pattern? Everything was a takeoff of Africa?
What I'm saying is that the original dancehall drums came from the influence of Africa.
Granted, I give you that. And all I'm saying is the Afrobeats artists are influenced, some of them, by Jamaican artists.
Some of them. Okay, we're going to take you
as well as
some
of the rhythms. Because if you listen to what was being released by, say, this whole, what they call an Afrobeat sound before it started was totally different.
That is true. That is true.
And that's all I'm saying.
I give you that.
I'm saying is there.
Hey, Bobby, you the first one to have a crumble. So thank you.
He had me crumbling.
I've been trying to crumble this lady.
You can't, because you don't want to.
No, because I agree with what you say. But what I'm saying is you can't tell me if I'm here and then I'm influenced by someone and their production, then I'm saying this guy influenced me, then you could just go to your argument and say, oh no, but he was influenced by Africa. Well, we know everything. If that's the root of civilization, we know that. But there could be years and periods of transition and effects. No,
you did not say that.
Hey,
we need to roll back. You need to post that.
Bobby, thank you again. What
are you talking about? You didn't even say that. You did not say that. That was not your argument.
That's exactly what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying.
You need to drop that. You need to drop that video.
All right, here we're going. no.
Which video?
Before
The video from the
from the other
episode that we
All right,
dropped.
we did an episode on the
let's keep
Reggae versus Afro.
I'm gonna call that my W. Let's
No,
keep
because
it.
I done spoke to some Afrobeats artists, and they told me who influenced them.
Yeah, man.
So,
And that's fine.
You know, and even you know, I mean, I'm not trying to say one's better than the other. I could just hear the swing.
Influence, right?
The swing.
Before, let me get in my 2 cents.
That was spicy.
Before we move on, this is my
Held it down, bro.
Always.
Held it down.
Bobby. Before we transition, this is my 2 cents. My thing is that listen, people need to put some respect on our name, and I feel
What's your name now? Whose name?
Jamaica.
Reggae Talk Podcast?
Nah, dancehall.
Well, they need to put
Dancehall, Jamaica music.
No, but I think people do.
No,
I think
what I'm saying is that
copying is the greatest form of flattery.
yeah.
Agreed.
Sometimes for example,
People love it.
For example, French Montana, Unforgettable. People call that Afrobeats,
It is what it is, bro.
and to me, it's dancehall. And when you say this is dancehall,
and it's even closer to drum pattern to reggaeton.
Yeah.
But where did reggaeton come off of?
Panama. It
No,
came from
Panama.
Panama.
That's
but-
all. It came from
No,
Shabba
no,
Ranks. Them both.
but-
What I'm talking about, right? Okay, so
Okay, but where did El General come from? Panama. Who was his influence?
But that's goes
All
back
right,
to-
and then,
right.
Then the drum pattern was what
It goes
song?
back to.
I'm gonna read a Sean Paul.
I'm glad I have Bobby here.
You
Song.
just need
Bobby,
somebody.
song.
You just need somebody.
Where did the rhythm come from?
I'm gonna read.
And then go listen to Dirt's Been Hot this year.
But
Tell
that's
me if that
fine.
ain't the drum pattern for every
Yo,
reggaeton song.
Bobby, you got
I'm
all
gonna
the
read-
answers, man.
I'm gonna read a Sean Paul quote. You got a Sean Paul is Sean Paul. So I'm gonna read a Sean Paul quote from the Rolling Stone magazine. Sean Paul says, "Dancehall is the son of reggae, but the father of several genres." Says Sean Paul, likely dancehall's biggest crossover superstar. The influence dancehall has brought to the table is evident right now in Afrobeats, he adds, citing the popular Nigerian sound that has in turn inspired hits by Drake and others. The speedy strain of dance music known as drum and bass and the English hip-hop subgenre grime also owe much to Jamaican templates. And that's just only a couple genres.
Yeah, they were influenced, that's all. But the reason why cats is running Afro beats is because the numbers are sick.
Put
The
some respect
Nigerian
on it.
Afrobeats artists, they're getting the streams and the views.
Easy.
Yeah, you funny over there because you
All
just
right.
agreeing with him just now. I'm talking about, oh yeah, it came from Jamaica.
We're gonna
No,
try-
I'm just talking about influence. But the numbers, remember, Africa is like 5 times the size
No,
of the
that's not what I'm
population.
talking about.
No, but he's talking about the numbers, right? He says that the numbers, people are jumping onto Afrobeats because their numbers are massive.
Right.
Now, for instance, if you
I
look
got a
at,
perfect example.
Yeah.
You know, are you familiar with Lucky Dube?
No, put me on.
oh, he's the greatest.
He's an African reggae artist.
Okay. First.
But you can't tell me if you go listen to
Sound
him
like
and then
reggae.
go listen to Peter Tosh.
Right.
You're going to see where he got his influence from.
But you just said, but okay, let's bring it back.
Now
you
we
said
know,
reggaeton
Peter
came from
Tosh
Jamaica.
is from Jamaica.
Right.
He was in the Whalers.
Reggaeton came from Jamaica.
Ewa.
And where Jamaican, where reggae come from? Where dancehall came from?
This is a hot topic.
Jamaica.
No, you know
Yeah,
exactly where I'm
we
getting
can talk
at.
about this all day, but let's transition.
You know
let's
where
tr-
I'm getting at.
let's-
Yo, she's not letting this go.
No,
Let's
because I'm right.
Come on, man. You
Viva
don't
Road, let's
shut it down real
Let's
quick.
transition.
Your woman
Because
scorned.
it's a lot of stuff we got to talk about, your boy. The people in
Your
want to hear.
husband's from Nigeria?
No.
She's just stuck in this
The
trance.
people in want to hear Bobby Conder's perspective. All right, so Bobby Conder's is a proponent of the old school. And Bobby Conder's, he's still relevant. He's not
Still booked out, son.
Still booked
Yeah,
out.
still getting
you know what I
it,
mean?
son.
'Cause we want to make that clear because you have some youngins out there like, they like to pull the whole grumpy old man card.
No, I ain't grumpy at
No,
all,
you
man.
have
Nah,
to put
nah,
respect
you
on my
I
name.
was 6ix9ine
saying?
wasn't my rapper, but when Fire Sundays they wanted to hear it, I played it.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
Right.
You know, it is
So,
what it is.
now-
my kid loved him when he was out on the road.
Right. Yeah.
As we said earlier, as Bobby Conder said, the sound change.
Things change.
Things change.
That's it.
Things and times change. Change is
like women.
It's inevitable. Yeah, man, like women. So if you Monroe eyes is like this.
Y'all are
It's true,
really
though. It's
trying
true.
it.
Yo.
You don't want to smoke.
They said feminine means
So-
to change.
Oh, shut
And
up.
masculine is to stay constant. That's the if you
Word.
dictionary Greek. Yeah, I'm just
Good night.
I'm just
the
saying.
music that's coming out of Jamaica right now.
Right.
The music is not really. It's not really.
They changed your sound. They changed your sound, fam. That's what we said. They
Yeah,
changed
man.
your sound.
So you are going on.
driven business. It's
I'm
what it
asking you.
is.
I'm asking you. Can the hardcore, authentic dancehall make a comeback? Because
I don't know. That'd be up to the producers.
The producers out of Jamaica right now. They hear our cries. This is not. They hear it over and over, but yet still they keep pumping out this
dancehall fusion,
and they're not stopping because the youth.
No, because
they're not stopping.
The kids are into their thing,
right?
You know, you gotta remember when cats was say doing roots rock reggae.
Yeah.
They didn't know if their music, like they didn't know if their music was going to hit. Right. They did it just because they loved it.
Right.
I speak to Burro Banton. Burro Banton was DJing on the mic back in the day in the 80s at Skateland and on Jaro and Gemini and Sound Systems.
Right.
They just did it because they loved it. They didn't know there'd be a career in it. These younger producers are doing their sound because that's what they're into.
Right.
And you can't fight it. And if it works or if it doesn't work, that's what they love.
That's what they like.
And there's certain songs that might win, some may not.
Yeah.
Some and I think also what you might want to also address is, I think more in the 90s and early 2000s, a lot of people identified themselves as being Jamaican.
Yeah.
And they embraced the Jamaican culture.
Right.
Yeah.
And they could have been from other places of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the last 10 years or so,
they embrace
everybody's embracing their own island, their own country, and their own music.
Talks on that post you put up that a lot of homebred. I think you talk on it.
Or the post on the blog at Reggae Music Forever.
Right, where they're creating their own.
So this is the post.
No, and that's perfect though. Look at all the soca artists, and then also the soca artists. I don't know what year it started. The soca artists started doing music yearly, not just carnival season.
Yeah.
And then the other point is they slowed it down when they started doing records 105, 110 BPM, groovy soca,
and also the content.
Now it mixes with the Afro beats.
And the dancehall.
You're happy. Yes. It mixes with the dancehall. You're happy.
Right.
And it mixes even with the hip hop.
Even their content.
The Drake.
Before it was like jump on wave. That was
the soca song right now.
Now they have stories. They have contents. They have like literal
melody and everything. It's good.
Yeah, it's good. I love it. But
but I mean,
it's definitely influenced by dancehall.
Right. With different generations.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
The change, I think soca has got the influence from dancehall.
No, what do you mean? Soca been around way before.
I'm saying the change that they've made right now.
You don't want no smoke.
Would you agree?
No, I think that my point was over the last 10 years or so, this generation has identified more with their own culture. They embraced their own culture.
Right.
Whereas back in the day, cats might say they're Jamaican when they weren't.
Yeah.
Because they said they wanted to have that flex, that Batman, Baccative or whatever.
A real thing.
Real talk, son. Let's be real.
Bobby Connors, we come from Brooklyn, and I want to tell you something. There's a whole bunch of selector from back in the days, from when I was coming up in the early 2000s or whatever, late 90s, and all of them, they play dancehall music, they play reggae music, and them talk like the Jamaican and this and that. And you thought they were Jamaican, and they never said that they're not Jamaican. They made people think that they're Jamaican. But fast forward in 2019,
I could never do that, son.
You know what I said? Fast forward. What were you with that?
91, 92.
Well, you know what I said? Fast forward to 2019. Everybody's embracing wherever they come from, whichever island, whichever country.
That was my point. Yeah. So therefore, their music is elevated. They're releasing music yearly now, not just carnival season. Yeah. And then the groovy soca we said, and then they're embracing their own thing. Where back in the day, everybody was, into the dancehall, reggae dancehall culture. So obviously the numbers, it changes.
True.
And we can't let you. We got it. This is something that I really, really wanted to talk about, and it just came back to me. The landscape in New York City right now when it comes to reggae and dancehall, because there's a million different DJs and there's a million different artists, there's a million different promoters. But as far as what do you think about the landscape of reggae and dancehall?
Well, you have the hardcore dancehall thing, which is like the Jamaican
in New York City right now.
Yeah, I'm talking Brooklyn, Bronx. You have the Jamaican scene. But then within that also, you could still hip hop's going to play, and maybe even a couple soca, where and maybe it didn't play like that 15, 20 years ago, but maybe it did. But it's all perception. But you still have, now you have your Afro beats parties, your soca parties, and in the city you're going to have your generic parties where you're going to have your Jamaican music, but it's going to be the stuff that they can dance to.
Right.
And then you're going to have your Drakes and Stefflon Dons and Coffee record playing and Cartel Fever, and then you're going to have your soca segment, and you're going to have your Joanna's playing and your Afro B and Vito, because everything's mixed together.
Right.
Yeah, man, it's fusion.
But it definitely hip hop is playing. because them kids embrace it. But I also, not to cut you, but the soca people really, it seems, are organized.
And that's what I was talk about that, Bobby.
Because well, I think what happened was with the hookah generation and the lounge generation and people embracing their own music and so forth, it made the numbers smaller in the dance hall.
Yeah.
The dance hall numbers have gotten smaller in that party. Then also with the streets and the money not running like one time in the streets, you don't even really have the sound system culture, because now you just have smaller promoters doing things, a million things, where basically sometimes back in the day you had your one date of the year and you didn't go on nobody else's date because it was repercussions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now everyone, tight pants generation, everyone's a promoter, Ray, and the hookah, the lounge and thing. It just took away from the sound system dance hall culture. You know what I'm saying?
It's not really happening right now, man. Especially,
it's not going to happen.
You've been through it.
This is what it is, and people have to realize it. This is what it is, and you're not going to go to dance usually again in New York where too many dancers, we're going to see a big sound string up.
Right.
It is what it is. This generation don't care about a dub plate too much.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? The dancehall generation, they're more about fashion and brunch. They're style and fashion.
Yeah.
Reggae Talk.
Into them
the whole
vibes.
Reggae Talk, we love those.
And that's what it is. Right. The days of the Don doing the thing and hiring Ray. Them days is like far and few between.
Right.
And as a selector, you move with the times. And if I get play at a hardcore dance, I play. And if I'm playing for that generation, Master B's a sound that can play for everybody. So.
Right.
Because we're versatile like that. Where we could, if we get hired by the soca crew or whatever, we know what we're going to do for them.
Quick question.
Not that we're going to play soca, but they're hiring us to play reggae.
Right.
Bobby, are you considering to hiring someone else, like younger generation, to come into the Massive?
Well, I had a lot of people played on this sound over the years.
Right. But they carry the torch. Right.
No, they transition, like say people before Major Hype. Now Major Hype worked for me for 5 years.
So them fill out the thing then.
Major Hype is Major Hype is doing his comedian thing.
Right.
And after that, I got a guy from Portmore that lives in Jersey.
Okay.
Lando Hype. And then he tours with me a lot. Jabba has Chutney mixing for him. And then occasionally me and Jabba work together for certain events if they hire us. But it's just easier for us to make more money. Whereas if I go here, Jabba go there.
Well, my question is, because when you think of Massive B, you think about Bobby KONDERS and Jabba.
Yeah.
Who's going to be that next?
Shit, I ain't going nowhere, son. This is what I do.
Alright.
This is what I does. Unless I hit lotto.
Talk the thing them.
All right, so
you know what I mean?
All right,
play dance.
This is what I wanted to get to earlier. So pretty much whenever I go to, still on New York City. When it comes to the still on New York City, because New York with it, and we want certain things to be out there in the universe.
Certain things ain't gonna change, fam. They change.
We're talking about current right now. Every time I go to Jamaica, I always make it my point of duty. We were all in Jamaica the other day. We go to all 4
every parish.
What dances you go to?
Every nook and cranny. But you're messing. I'm going to get to that. Every time we go to Jamaica, we always go to Uptown Mondays. The reason why, I always make sure, no matter what I do, we got Uptown Mondays. I always make sure.
Enjoy it?
I love it.
We love it.
I love it.
Now, why do you love it?
I love it because pretty much,
like Shayna said, the theatrics.
Full production.
So you like the scene, the dancers?
No. I'm different from them. I'm going to a soca party and I'm whining. Uptown Mondays was more of a production. Like
it's a show. It's a show.
Everybody just standing around, looking around,
watching.
So you did not like it.
It was cool for what it was, but it wasn't my thing. My thing is I like to dance.
The thing with Uptown Mondays is an exhibition. Right. It's the culture. It's the cutting edge of the culture.
Yes.
You know what I say? It's where they put all the new songs on display. You see the latest dances. Any new song would drop, boom, boom, them off a plate.
New talk as well.
It's like
they pick and choose what they play.
Well, you know what the thing go already, Bobby.
Yeah.
You know what the thing go. Them pick and choose. Yeah, but it's the cutting edge, is the forefront of the culture. Right. So what I'm saying right now, in a New York, this is what something that I feel is missing in New York right now. When people come on New York and they want to go out, they want to feel the vibes in the city. The closest thing right now, I would say maybe beside Fire Sundays, Seafood Tuesdays.
Fire Sundays have different vibes.
Fire Sundays,
it's more that second generation American culture. It's not the hardcore. No, hardcore would no.
It transitioned
Right.
Over the years, we've been there 15 years.
Right.
When you walk in a seafood Tuesday.
Seafood, yeah.
On a Tuesday night, you want to feel.
No, I was there the other night.
Yeah, man.
But you're gonna still hear a lot of hip hop too.
Yeah, man.
Well, now it's transitioning now, but we're talking about.
And I went to Unwind Thursday the other night.
We're talking about
the younger generation want to hear hip hop.
Yeah, so
it is what it is. I went to Unwind in the Bronx 2 weeks ago on my birthday. The other night, like Tuesday, I went to Seafood.
Yeah, man.
And then Fire Sunday. It is what it is. Kids want to hear hip hop.
Yeah.
Young adults, let's say.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Seafood too.
You know, that's what it is. I mean, it's gotten to the point. I was in Switzerland the other day. I had to draw for some hip hop.
Wow.
Because when I played some of the newer dancehall, they looked at me like,
"What are you doing?
Where's the beat? Where's the rhythm?"
Wow.
So that's what it is.
Yo, you just heard it from Bobby's voice himself. He's saying, I mean, around the world, we need those drums and bass.
Yeah, man. But you can't tell some producer.
To nip it in the butt.
Nah, but like I said, the youths are going to do what they want to do, and you can't fight that. You can, you know, still as a producer, you do what you do. I like. Since I campaign my thing.
Now,
I have my Pandora rhythm out now with Vibes Cartel. Pandora 19.
We was playing the car earlier.
Yeah, then you have Cali P from Switzerland, a Rasta artist. This artist here. You have a song called Cuddle Up, and then the Cyclone. With It's You That I Need.
You That I Need. Yeah, man. I posted it last night.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
And you know, it's just that rhythm there is like a little dancehallish vibe.
It's a vibe. It kind of give me not really fever, but I see the vision. I feel it.
I like it.
I see where you're trying to take.
It's something you could dance to, because even when I go to them places now around the world and play it, the beat alone, the rhythm alone, will make people dance.
People listen to it
because they may not understand the lyrics, or maybe Cartel's very lyrical. But at least the rhythm,
they can rock to it.
They're gonna vibes, because I played it over there in places and they didn't know the song, but they stayed dancing.
They vibes.
Yeah, man.
Now, as
look little like something's on your mind.
No.
Anything you would like to get off your chest?
I'm listening.
Come on, we'll speak for the women's, man. The women's. Let me hear the women's.
Y'all love to hear my voice.
Come on, son. Let it go. Let it go.
Let it rip.
Come on.
I don't got nothing to say.
You got, son.
I said
I'm
that
over
I
here. I want to hear.
song.
I want to hear what you got to say.
I said I like this song. I like the song.
No, I'm not talking about that song. This in general. What else?
About dancehall?
Anything.
I mean, I love the
It's
culture.
a podcast, right?
I mean,
express yourself.
I feel like everyone is so, especially like artists, they're so big on breaking in the U.S. when they don't realize there's a whole world outside.
Great point.
Where people
Tons
do
of
listen
markets.
to dancehall.
Great point.
You got Panama, you got Costa Rica, you got Colombia. Believe
Central
it or not,
America.
they have their whole.
And it goes to your Charlie Black argument.
There you go. And that's my biggest problem. I'm like, why does everybody feel like they have to bust?
Because America is kind of the American dream.
Right.
Brainwashed the world.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
In real talk, it's the biggest country that did the most fuckery around the world.
Facts.
Got people thinking that this is the only place.
They're good with psychology, man, because they brainwash the whole world.
Annoys me. I know an artist that he is actually from Jamaica, and he was trying to break through in Jamaica. They wasn't feeling him in Jamaica.
Who's the artist?
His name is Esconinco. You probably never heard of him.
Escolinko?
Esconinco.
Where does he live now?
He in Jamaica, but he actually bust in Panama. Actually,
He had a song, so he getting the food. He working.
he's working.
Yeah, but I done. I know that. Like, if you listen to what I said earlier, I produce a lot of songs that for foundation artists or other artists that did great globally for me. I stayed selling their 45s.
Right.
Yeah,
Jamaica never played it.
Right.
Or the politics, they was looking, for an envelope or whatever.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, man, it is what it is. There's a whole world out here.
There is a whole
You
world.
can't get stuck thinking, like I try to tell young boys, my man, get off the block, son. There's a world out here more than Brooklyn.
There is.
Now, Bobby,
Girl, them in Maryland and Virginia look good too.
True. As an upcoming artist, dancehall artist myself, what's the advice you would give to dancehall
Get your
artists?
social media right.
Right.
Get it popping for wherever, however. I ain't got that blueprint. All I can tell you is just look at like how Cardi B made it pop for herself. And at first, no one thought she could rap a little bit. But she, and especially even people and major labels want something that people are paying attention to.
Right.
So if it's fuckery or whatever you got to do, whatever you as a person is willing to do, that's your call.
So you say gimmicks, you don't even if they doing gimmicks and putting up all kinds of stuff.
What I'm saying is, depends where you draw the line and your own character and whatever you're comfortable with.
Find something to work for you.
Whatever will work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I had my people videotape me robbing a bank tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yo, Bobby Conder's gangster, that boy, that road boy.
Yeah.
And I'd have probably gained another 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, and it could be a fake. It could be a fake robbery.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
Most dancehall artists get to you, garrison you, who follow street morals and street ethics, and they're not gonna do anything just to get that fame. You know,
and then no, you're wrong, because other cats may do anything.
that's facts.
I think it's a people thing.
All right,
It's a personal thing.
Well, Jamaican has a culture, and there's principles that we follow.
Oh, man, you see girls hugging, kissing girls now.
Not talking about man.
You know.
Man. Not talking about man.
We know them thing there.
Yeah.
I mean, Shay did post that video.
Boy, I tell
that
you,
picture,
some of them outfits make you wonder.
She posted that picture on Instagram when it looked like she was, you know, kissing another girl and she was in a whole relationship when it was just for a video. And the comments was lit.
Yeah,
So
man.
I definitely
Yeah,
feel
because
them
in
on that
American culture, they're trying to bust it with the Americans.
one. Right, they're doing everything. So I guess that's what you're
All
going to
right.
do.
Bobby, what do you think about the whole reggae movement in America? The American reggae artists, the Cali reggae, not only America, the Pacific reggae, and all these different reggae.
Don't really know much about it.
Yeah,
because
man.
they don't. My thing is more New York,
Yeah,
Jersey, Connecticut, and then Jamaica.
Yeah.
Then I go to Europe and Japan and other places in the Caribbean
man.
or wherever. So I don't.
Because-
I don't really get. I get booked occasionally in LA, but it's more Garrison Yard type thing.
Okay.
'Cause there's a whole massive roots movement that's going on right now.
No, they've been putting their reggae records out with J Boog and this one and that one.
And these
and
guys,
they're getting their
these
numbers.
guys are top.
Yeah, but then you got the white boy reggae bands like
Those guys. There's the
they got-
Green,
but they
there's
got
the
money, they
Green,
got
there's
some-
Tribal Seeds, there's Revolution.
Yeah, I guess they got some bread behind them.
Big time.
And they got their own little fan base. So it is what
not,
it is.
Not little. It's colossal. It's colossal. They don't even know our artists.
Well, what's amazing to me is if they have such a fan base, then people like Morgan Heritage, that same fan base should be aware of Morgan Heritage.
Now, Morgan Heritage was opening up for Revolution a couple years ago. Chronix opened up for Revolution when he was a big star worldwide. So
Yeah,
I
but see, that goes to show you that means their fan base is this exposed to the Revolution and their people. So I'm just, you know.
So that means they don't need our music.
Basically not.
Right.
It's like I remember going to Japan in the 90s and there would be 1-2 Japanese artists. Now it's like there's a million Japanese artists, but then also it also comes with the artists have to be ambassadors for the country and the music.
Right.
You have to be ambassadors in a positive way.
Right.
You can't bad up promoters, and you gotta and handle your business professionally.
Right. So you could think about the bigger picture in a sense, you know.
Well, the bigger picture as well as longevity.
Right.
The reason why I asked you about it, I did an interview in another podcast, Reggae Lover Podcast. Big up Reggae Lover Podcast. Yeah, man. I just did an interview with them last week, and the conversation was mainly about how other regions around the world, they're forming their own industries when it comes to reggae music.
Their own reggae industry. Definitely. You know, it's been happening.
That pretty much is...
Oh, man, I put a rhythm out 10, 11, 12 years ago called No Borders.
Yeah.
I had a different reggae artist from every part of the country on there.
Yeah.
From Europe, from Japan, from
Yeah.
Trinidad.
Wow.
You know, Junior Reed on it, Burro, and so forth. And, you know, Chesedek. But it's like...
You don't think it kind of like put a damp... Put it on our stock,
on
devalue what we want to Jamaica, and our bargaining power kind of like, you know, it compromise our
because
bargaining
here
power.
you are 20, 30 years later, the people...
Elephant Man was complaining about that the other day because he says one time in Japan he used to be able to
the scene in Japan has gotten smaller, fam.
Demand a certain...
No, it's got a lot smaller.
Talk about
Same as Europe. And it's the music, fam. It's the music. People are gravitating to other things.
Right. Jamaica's not grabbing.
They're into hip hop. They're into other forms of music. Afro beats. But no,
so Jamaica's not grabbing new audience globally.
Yeah, and
so it's not growing.
And if what you're doing,
I think
ain't what the world was used to coming from you, and you changed it.
Right.
Well, other people around the world are going to do it.
They used to what? Right.
Hence, some of the pop artists in America, and they're having great success doing it.
Absolutely.
So that's look in the mirror.
Bobby Conder's co-signed co-signed it. I want to shake your hand, Bobby Condes.
Definitely.
This is something
We
that
agreed with you though.
this is but a lot of, if you look on the blog at Reggae Music Forever, a lot of people, they have other things to say about it.
Right.
And I pretty much, that's what I said. I'm like, everyone is forming their own industries. Pretty much, the writing is on the wall.
Yeah.
Because our industry is pretty, or lack thereof, is very fickle. So other people are starting to create their own versions of reggae music. So, and generations is coming around where they can't even connect with our own homegrown.
They don't even know who, because they're identifying with their Switzerland artists or their German artists and so forth. And these artists have been influenced, obviously, originally by Jamaica, but they embraced it and they honed their craft, whereas I'm going to sing it in my language and so forth. Whereas there's in Japan, I understand Elephant Man. I used to get a lot more money in Japan too.
Yeah, man.
But it's like they have their own set of Japanese artists now that are doing dancehall and singing right on dancehall rhythms, and they're producing and so forth. It damned if you do, damned if you don't, because what happens is you're influencing the world with your culture. People are going to gravitate to it and love it. I started my thing in Brooklyn.
Right.
If I wasn't influenced
Absolutely.
by the early guys, then I wouldn't have did it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So are you doing it with an authenticity, and then there's levels to that.
Yeah, man.
You know, with the people around you, are they eating? You know what I'm saying? I got some of the same dudes around me. I mean, like most cats that left the sound left because they went on to do their own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But like, Jabba's been with me since he's been a teenager.
Jabba.
You know, I met Burro Banton in the early 90s, and we still
talk about best of the best.
Well, best of the best, that's more Jabba and Buttafuoco.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
they do their thing 13 years now.
Wow.
And it's
Massive.
probably one of the best reggae dancehall
In
one
the
day
States.
festivals, you know, and so forth.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I go to Love and Harmony Cruise. That's great. That's 3 years deep now with Barris.
Right.
Next year,
I've seen that.
Love and Harmony Cruise has Buju, Barris, Wayne Wonder, Nadine Sutherland. And I'd be crazy if I didn't mention that we fucked up Summer Jam.
What do you have going on? What does Bobby have going on?
We just did Summer Jam.
Pandora.
No, well, I produced.
mean, as far as events
but we
and-
just did Summer Jam. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I don't do really like a lot of events no
You
more
do
because the game has
production.
changed.
You do
Okay.
I was
production.
more of a dancehall guy, and I would rent the hall. You know, from when I used to keep Massive
Art.
Anniversary from Q Club
Yeah, man.
to Elite Art to Albany Manor.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
forth. Bring the sound in.
Big
I
year.
remember.
And you know, went to the parties and even out of artists, you know, come
Come on.
sing on the sound or whatever.
Right.
You know, with Barrington and Vegas and Junior Reed and DeMarco and Johnny Osborne and Burro, everybody.
Right.
You know, because I come from that era.
Right.
I love that era.
Talking about that, we just had a 1-year anniversary event where we had also like a band, and we had artists locally from New York City, like these buzzing artists from Gold Digger to Him Legendary, myself, perform. So we also are doing exactly what you just highlighted, it, renting out halls and trying to give dancehall artists a space to, you know, a
Uplift the
platform
culture.
to uplift the culture. So that's exactly what I think that a lot of the New York City promoters are, you know, people who are invested in the dancehall culture should do.
Well, see, no, also they closed so many of the halls, so many of
Yes.
the clubs.
Yeah.
So, like, and I ain't stupid. I understand, like, when I used to promote Master B Anniversary, I was out in the streets doing flyers myself. You know what I'm saying? I got locked up putting up posters. You know
Wow.
what I'm saying? So, you know, the game has changed. And obviously, yeah. So, it's like, I just said, I don't
I mean, you
have
felt
to.
so you fall back from
Then I started to do Master B Anniversary and bring in an artist in Fire Sunday.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Keep
forth,
it
so on. So, but I mean, I love the era of when the sound would string up and the artist would sing around the sound.
I'm actually doing one myself, right? June 28th, and I mean, I'm doing it. Bands performing in All Nations.
Well, I wouldn't even hire a band. I would have the artist sing around the sound.
Well,
with the track.
My
you
thing,
know,
I'm trying
the
to
version.
I'm trying to bring back
B-side of the record.
that original, that feeling of having a band play and having a dancehall artist work on the band.
Band
you know?
add value, man.
It definitely does. A lot of our patrons that came to our Reggae Talk anniversary, they left
Over
happy.
200 people.
They spoke about it for 2-3 weeks on social media, repost
Well, you
after
have a
repost.
platform here, so you just have to capitalize on your platform. And
Yeah,
then
man.
obviously, if you're trying to do things and generate money, that's the way to go to be a promoter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
You know,
Right.
because I made money doing parties and it was cool. I'm more of me personally. I like being making music, and DJing.
Right.
But
So what songs are you promoting right now?
Well, this like the Pandora rhythm I put out. I have a young Rasta artist I've been working with called Choppa Chop.
Choppa Chop.
Yeah,
you gotta look him up.
He had a
what's his social media?
Choppa Chop Music.
Choppa Chop Music.
He lives in Jamaica. He's been in Brooklyn.
Peeps, you hear that? Choppa Chop Music.
Choppa Chop.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I put a rhythm out the other day with him and Sasko on it, and it's a culture rhythm, a one-drop rhythm.
How's it doing?
It's all right. It's like it costs a lot of money to promote and get videos played in Jamaica.
I know it.
And music to be played. You know what I'm saying? So you got to pick and choose your spots.
Talking to the choir
outside of Jamaica, like other countries.
Well, no, I did. It was better when the records were selling because then people would go to the record store. Now, I promoted it hard on social media.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just like there's so much music out there that to catch someone's attention. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. All right, so another thing before we wrap up this episode of great episode, by the way.
It really was.
You guys are incredible.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Yeah, man. Before we wrap up this episode of Reggae Talk Podcast with the iconic, legendary Bobby KONDERS. Bobby KONDERS,
thank you.
One thing I noticed about you is that you've put in the work and you've formulated a legacy where you branched. You're a businessman.
I try to be. I'm not the best though.
Yeah.
Because when you have love for music, sometimes you make the wrong decisions.
Right.
Yeah, man.
It's just not numbers for me.
Right.
Yeah, man.
I voiced a lot of people in Jamaica, and I knew that dub plate wasn't going nowhere, or even the record. But I just helped to get a youth and throw them a food and a lot of. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And this.
And that's what built your legacy,
son. I've been in a beautiful position. I put my work in, but it's like I'm given an opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've always tried to look at that. Someone gave me an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I got big up Fred Bugs from WBLS. You may not know him, but he gave me an opportunity. So I try to give other people's opportunity. Like even if it doesn't work out, I gave people opportunity. Some people ain't clean. Some people steal money.
Reminds me like Bone to Killer. He's an advocate of giving artists opportunity.
Yeah. So at Killer Voice to me in '95, we did Suicide Murder.
A suicide
a number one song.
Man.
And then we remixed it with J. Rue the Damager at East New York, Brooklyn rapper.
Yeah, man.
And that record got in rotation on Hot 97.
And that's the thing I think that's lacking right now in this time is unity. Is people like yourself outreaching to younger artists.
Sometimes
younger
I try to reach out to some artists, and then it's like, and let alone you could even be on Hot 97. And I know we come from the sound system era, but we live in a time now where it's like, my man, if we holler at you, just send the dub.
Right.
The cats are looking money.
They want money.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we put our work in and paid a lot of
right.
artists.
You done paid your homage.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not even that. It's just like, figure it out, because I'm not, I'm doing, I want the dub for the sound and on the radio, but it's like, come on, man, figure it out, man. We're promoting you. We're the biggest hip hop station in the world.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Before we wrap up this great episode of Reggae Talk Podcast, Bobby KONDERS, can you give some words of inspiration for the new generation artist, the new generation producer, Jamaican reggae dancehall?
Listen to your mother, man. Go to school. Education is the key.
Yeah.
Education is the most important. Then you could be an artist. You could be a ball player. We got 1 million ball players and artists. Get your education.
My man.
You know what I'm saying?
My man.
Like my daughter just graduated college. I'm a proud daddy.
Congratulations.
Congrats to her.
Yo,
well on. That deserves some firewood. Just let her.
It wasn't cheap.
And
that's a problem with America. Healthcare and education is so fucking expensive.
I remember
I'm in debt right now because of education.
You dropped off
5 years ago.
I remember you drove
all the way to fucking Alabama. Son.
Yeah, man. I remember.
I seen
I
that
drove
post.
back the other day. I brought a bedroom set back.
Wow.
Johnny.
See, time flies.
Truck.
Time flies.
Me and her little brother drove.
Yo.
And we stopped somewhere coming from Alabama to Tennessee to Virginia and just slept in that truck.
You see all the social media powerful?
Yeah, because
he put it up back then, and I do remember when she was just going off to college. She drove down.
Yeah, man. Listen to your parents, man. Get your education, because you once you that, then and you know how to utilize the computer and utilize all the opportunities that are in front of you. And you'll be able to market yourself as an artist, and maybe you'll learn just the different avenues, and then you can still maybe we understand, like, say in Jamaica, the economy is not good. There's not jobs there, and then you need money maybe for school. Right. So it's kind of fucked up,
right?
You know, and that's just the world we live in. I guess 95% of the world is hungry.
Struggle.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So it's like, if you're given the opportunity or whatever, listen to your mom or go get your education. That's the most important thing. And then if you're an aspiring artist, for me, trying to stay relevant in this game, stay up to the time with the social media, because that press of a button can go global for free.
Yeah, man.
And you just never know what can catch people. Even though in America people tend to like fuckery,
right?
But you just never know.
It's true.
And to add on what Bobby just said, I think in this day and age, it's imperative that the artist is intelligent, because as an artist nowadays, you're playing many hats. You know, you're playing the role of many hats. So you got to be well versed in a whole bunch of different.
Do your
things.
research. Because when I started, I don't even really know. Nobody was in the music business in my family, so I don't know. You learn about publishing, learn about writing. You know, I just try the thing and I just keep grinding.
Yeah, Alkaline was intelligent.
Alkaline got how many subjects? 5, 6 subjects. He's an intelligent kid.
Same as like I think a lot of the artists are
right now.
You know
right now
nowadays,
because they got that good education. Like,
right.
Come on, look at Cartel, man.
Oh, he's a genius, man.
Yeah,
it pays to go to school as an artist nowadays compared to in the yesteryear where other people did.
A lot of cats didn't have the opportunity.
Right.
Yeah. They grew up in the streets.
Yeah,
that's just the reality.
Right. So you have raw talent.
Well, or there's a passion and a love.
Right.
Yeah, man.
How about you, beautiful?
I agree with you. Stay in school.
She went and got her college
I went to college. I graduated. I'm finally putting my degree to use.
Where will you go?
I went to SUNY New Paltz. And I was on the dean list, by the way.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Education is the key, ladies and gentlemen. You hear that?
SUNY New Paltz. That's Long Island or upstate?
Upstate.
Oh, I played there already.
I know.
Oh, you used to go to the parties?
Yeah. Hello. Listen, I was
We're not going to date ourselves, but it was
So did
you went there
Sean,
too?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, we went to school
No, we used to bring the sound up there.
We know this.
Back in
We
the
was
day.
part of the Caribbean Student Union.
Yeah, man.
I'm a CUNY baby. I went City Tech in York and College in New Rochelle. You know,
everybody in here.
We already know. This
bachelor's, masters.
We know you from back in. You probably won't remember because we were small time back then.
Yeah, man.
Prime time now.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, man. But yo, this was a monumental episode of Reggae Talk Podcast, and it pretty much exemplified everything that Reggae Talk Podcast is all about.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? In every meaning of the word. So, Bobby KONDERS, it was a pleasure.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, man. It's all love, man.
It was a joy having you. I mean, the discourse. It was hills and valleys.
And we could have kept going.
I can't wait. I
See
can't
me in
wait.
your eyes, Bobby. You could keep going.
Bobby got passionate.
No, he got experience.
So hold on.
You got experience. Bobby, you got experience. You've been through this. You went through each wave of the musical eras. You know, dancehall from the 90s to the 2000s to the mid 2000s. Respect it. Come on.
And before we got to big up Tilsa.
Yeah, shout out to Tilsa for putting this together.
And Tilsa go hard, man. She tried to do her shows too with the rappers.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
She go hard.
Definitely.
Big up Tilsa. Tilsa, much respect, because you met the link. Bobby KONDERS on thing on.
Yo, but the proper spelling is KONDERS. Get at me on the gram. I check my DMs. You know what I mean? I'll take bookings. You know, I already know. Just holler at the kid. We working.
Yeah, man. So with that said, we wrapping up another episode of Reggae Talk Podcast. And
what number is this?
This is episode 13. And as we usually say at the end of every episode, build each other up and don't tear each other down. In the name of reggae and dancehall culture, one love, one culture, one music.
Cha.